Welcome back, everyone. I am Julian. My name for the day is Mr. Nobody. Don't worry about it. Joining me today, we have Tyler. Yes, Tyler, the Tyler from the last episode. We still have to share some stories, but she just couldn't leave, so she's here again. But she's not the main guest, right? We got Troy Track Select here.
Hey, that's crazy. Getting dissed like that in the beginning of the episode. That's
No,
nuts.
because why did he do me? That was crazy.
You're a
Okay,
side character.
it's all
You're
right.
a
I'm on
side
my
character.
side story journey, but that's okay.
It is nice to be the main character, though. This is different. This is different. Usually I'm on my own show, but this is nice. Being a guest is great. I can put my feet up in here. This got a nice setup in here.
Look, I sell this to everyone. You're welcome back anytime. I'm letting the audience know. I know you both are listeners, and I call listeners the questionnaires, right? And now you're both the redliners because you're now a guest on this show. Let's get
That's very funny.
That's what's up.
You're not gonna get that unless you went to school for real. That's very
it.
funny.
But as always, how was you guys' week? Your last 7 days? Troy, let's start.
So we're coming off of Thanksgiving. I was out in the boonies in North Carolina. Ain't no cell service out there. In the woods with my grandparents, we were cooking a pig. We do that every single year. So 80 pounds of pig, put it on the cooker, let it cook for like 10 hours. And I made it out alive, you know. It's dangerous out there. You go down there, you think it's going to be something regular, but it never is. I think I went out there for a funeral once and we had to dig the grave. And I was like, I ain't coming back here no more.
Wait. Huh?
I'm coming back here no more.
That's a different kind of journey right now.
It's super country, bro. Like that's what my granny likes doing stuff like that. So I thought we were supposed to be in mourning. I'm up brushing my teeth at like 7, and they gonna knock on the door like, "Hey, when you get out of here, no rush, but we gonna have to dig this grave. So go ahead and put your clothes on and get out here. No rush though, no rush."
And like, why wouldn't there be a rush? Because now you got to do it before the fruit. Like what?
Nobody told me nothing.
Troy, you were set up. I hope
That's how they woke me up. That's how they woke me up. They just let me get it. They didn't tell me the day before nothing. They said, "Yeah, we're digging the grave today. Go ahead and come out here." No.
Did someone leave? Like, Johnny didn't show up today, so Troy.
Listen,
Johnny.
I am positive what happened was they were like, "Oh, we're gonna dig the grave." My granddad was like, "We'll do it." He likes volunteering for stuff like that.
No.
Not you being voluntold to dig a
dude.
grave.
Now, thankfully, he has like a caterpillar thing, so look at construction, they'll pick it up. But I mean, I still had to jump down in that hole and dig. But you asked me about my last week. We're not talking about prior trauma right now. We cooked a pig. We had a great Thanksgiving. Hallelujah. Tyler, how was your week?
Oh my gosh, last 7 days. Every time you make me think of the last 7 days, I'd be like, what day was that? Okay, so last week, so I just left my job, my last job. Julian knows the story, but I was telling him, I was like, yeah, Beyonce at the beginning of the year, when she dropped a little out and she was telling you to quit your job. I don't know, I felt that.
Beyonce's a billionaire. Don't listen to nothing she got to say about quitting your job. She hasn't had to work for the last 20 years. She chooses to, but she hasn't had.
But she was right though. But she knew me. She knew it was right for me, and that's what matters. You know what I mean?
I feel the part out loud of go get another one. That's what you heard. Everybody else just heard to quit your job.
I did have another one lined up. I was telling people in the last episode, I was like, listen, don't do it crazy now. We're not, unless you got a little Easter egg, but I have that. So I have a job lined up. But I'm excited about that. This is the first day that I feel like got to deregulate from that place. It was a lot. I did not like what I was doing. And it makes you feel like you gotta work even harder just to do the bare minimum. I'm glad I don't have to do that no more. I'm excited to go into this next thing, and actually be excited about what I'm doing. So
Let's go.
That's amazing.
I guess I'm left. My weekend, like Troy said, it was Thanksgiving. I went down to see my family in Florida. No big problem. I played basketball with my old neighborhood friend, right? It humbled me so much because in the past, I've been able to play 5-on-5 games all day. I couldn't be stopped. I go with him. I can't even last 5 minutes. I'm like, and I already know I have been physically inactive for the past 6. So I'm like, yeah, now I have to get back to me jumping off walls and doing all crazy things because I can't have this.
Go ahead and check in for that Social Security, brothers. AARP is calling your name.
No, because like the way you have to stretch before you do anything now is crazy. Like if you don't stretch, you start feeling that immediately.
I guarantee you, every time I step on the court, there's a good 3 minutes. I'm like, yeah, let me stretch everything. I can't blow out another knee. Like I only have 2.
I went to go play basketball, and since I was shooting 2s, they call me old school out there. It's people older than me calling me old school. I said, hey, man, Unk at the age of 26, that's just not how I picture my life going for real.
Oh my God.
But it's cool.
Yeah, and then what else happened? Oh, so everyone knows I have a second job and everything, right? They may or may not be on the verge of firing me. The second job might be on the verge of firing me because all of November I have taken time off. No, I called out, but I told them ahead of time, like, hey, I'm putting this in the schedule. I'm not gonna be here. They chose not to accept it. So I already told you I'm not getting paid this day. Do what you do with that as you wish. But when I came back, I looked at my schedule. They cut my hours in half. I'm like, they still need me. And I'm like, you know what? This is just a blessing for me because now I actually have like more of a life for me. You think you're punishing me? No, this is a blessing. And so, yeah.
Next Friday gonna be your last day, partner. You gonna walk in, say, hey, man, y'all want me to come in next Tuesday?
Oh my gosh.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
Look, I was even thinking like, I'm very hard-headed. And I'm like, this is new management. Like, they don't know me. I might still show up at 5 p.m. is like, I'm here now. So do you want me to work my 4 hours and then leave? Or do you want me to stay the whole 9 hours and you have to pay me? Your decision.
You put in enough time to do all that, man. That was the new management.
Oh yeah, no, and that's why I'm like, yeah, new management, they might not like me.
They about to start trimming the fat.
Look, they're short
lean up in there.
Yeah,
they're short staffed, so get rid of me if you want. I'm like the best person in the kitchen. Not even for the fact that I do all the work. No, I'm just the one who doesn't have any problems with any.
They start firing people and then they forget how hard it was hiring somebody in the first place. Like, you get a little nervous.
Look, they all know I have a first job, so yeah, no, but that's just been my past 7 days. Nothing super crazy, but Troy, question you got for us?
Yeah, man. So I was perusing. And I saw that my question was, what makes a good first date? Something that I feel like I've been pretty well versed in it this past summer. I probably have dated the most I ever have in my life this past summer. And I've never, in this phase of life, it's a lot different than when I was in college and when I was in high school. Like I really am legitimately going on dates and they're like, oh, I'm a grown man for real. I'm grown and sexy now. I was trying to get to this point. When they go to the club and they would say like, this for the grown and sexy, like that's me. That's me. Now they don't really have the grown and sexy music out now. Most of the time I go to the club, I done told DJs, I said, quit playing the stab them up, shoot them up music, nigga. That is why I can't dance with no women in here because they feel like fighting.
Yeah.
If you play Knuck If You Buck, they're gonna be dragging out weed by 2, and I can't have it.
And with the liquor?
And with the liquor off the hen dog. It's just not going to work.
The Henny is ruining the black community. Anyway.
There's a lot of things ruining the black community. Love and hip hop is ruining the black community. Wendy Williams ruining the black community.
No, Wendy.
I can say a whole lot of things. This is going to be the people mad. Flavor Flav ruining the black community.
Well, we can't forget Beyonce.
I did remember the Flavor of Love. Wait, hold on now. Beyonce is for the black community. Come on.
No, she told you to quit your job.
And she was right, though. But she was right.
They got fired to go to the Renaissance. Is she funding their lifestyle now? She is not.
I don't know, man. If she's making them happy while they broke, though. And that's what matters.
You can get drugs for that. You can get drugs for that for half the cost.
It's hard to be happy when your stomach touching your back. And it's cold outside. We're in Indy. It's 17 degrees. It's warm in here. My thermostat working. You know why? Because I paid the bill. You know why I could do that? Because I got my job and I didn't listen to Beyonce.
I can't. No.
Okay. What makes a good first date? That's what we're supposed to be talking about. I thought about it a little bit. I think the way that I date might be a little different than how a lot of people date. I
What you mean
guess
by
it's
that?
just the thing of I feel like when I meet someone, I have a great level of discernment, I think. And when I meet someone, you can kind of tell like, oh, this is a really great back and forth, whatever. And I feel like I haven't had many instances in my life where I've like just met someone that day and then immediately went on it, like asked them on a date and went out with them. I think that approach doesn't work for me. I don't know why. It just don't. Because I did a lot of that this summer and everybody they just weren't dating right now. They were very busy right now. And I
Mm.
accepted that. I didn't pester those women. And they came, some woman, she was like, you put me on the spot right now. I was like, hey, it ain't that big a deal. You can say no, I'll just go over here. She gave me an Instagram. First of all, fellas, if they give you your Instagram, it's a waste of your time. It's not gonna go nowhere. Just go ahead and chalk that up to the game. But I said, whatever. She was cute, whatever. I just met her later. I said, hey, I'm paraphrasing. You're trying to go on a date. I said it much better than that, but for time's sake. And she was like, yeah, I've just run into businesses and da 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 and this and that. And I said, cool. No problem with me. Then I went on Instagram, saw she had 2 kids. I was like, that was a blessing. I didn't need that in my life.
What a blessing. You're not gonna be the dad that stepped up.
No. Not 2 times.
Well,
2
that
steps.
is a lot of steps. That's a
They
lot.
said step up, not step up, not stepped it up, just steps up.
You can't do like a quick. You can do a long step though.
Mm-mm,
2
mm-mm.
steps. One
See,
step.
you never seen me in real life. I'm short. I don't have that much leg to just go up that many steps. That's a lot. Okay, what makes a good first? I think when I've
Continue.
gone, yeah, like you gotta kind of know as a man. Usually, I'm the one who's pursuing, so you have to know kind of what kind of vibe you're going on. Usually, something a little more interactive. Dinner is cool. That's fine, but you got to pay. I was talking to our homeboy Marvin. Shout out to Marvin. Maybe he'll jump up on the show one day. He got a lot of experience in dates. I don't know how well they be going for him, but he got a lot of experience. And we really got to salute Chili's because Chili's on my Hulu every day talking about we got the 2 for $20. You get your entree, you get your appetizer and entree and drinks for $20.
I have to think about that. I've never been to Chili's, but now that's now on the list. That's now on the date list.
What's going on? I went on a date. I spent $70. The first date, I don't even know her like that. I said, whoa, we've got to set some boundaries. We got to do something different because I can't do this every time. Your pockets will severely limit you depending on what you're doing. But yeah, the 2 for $20. We was talking a lot of trash about Chili's, but they was looking out for us the whole time. Inflation hit everybody but Chili because I don't know nowhere for 2 entrees, 2 drinks, 2 and an appetizer for the 20 twin. This is not an advertisement. I didn't get paid no sponsorship dollars, but
he's putting you on game. Just listen. This is Troy here.
Anyway, though, yeah, you go out with somebody, and usually I have sort of a rapport with them beforehand. And before I go out, you get to take your shower, you do your face routine, your skin routine. You lotion all down. I use shea butter. So I feel like I'm really getting ready, not just lotion. I ran out of my shea butter because they out of stock right now, so I am using Jergens. But I feel real good when I'm all oiled up. Might spray a little cologne on, do some little. I've been getting on my oils recently, so I'll do that. Put my gold on, put my shirt, leave the top unbuttoned, let her see a little cleavage. Let her know I'm willing to do something. I want her to see a little. Go to the date. Again, I've already had some sort of rapport. So we have our nice talk, but what's a great indicator is usually I'll close the restaurant down. So usually like we'll be there and if the restaurant is about to close, I'm like, oh, we got to get out of here before, close. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get out of here, walk her to her car and we'll go home. Text her afterwards. Oh, I had a great time. She texts you. Oh, I have a great time. I've got this down to the side. And honestly, I don't think I've ever had a bad first date really, but I think that's mostly because I've already had some sort of rapport with them rather than this was kind of a stranger and I just took them somewhere.
What about you, Tyler? You have your thoughts on what makes a good first date?
I think it really depends on. I was thinking about this a lot. It depends on how well you know each other.
See.
I definitely think it depends on that. Like, I've been on a lot of movie first dates, but I don't mind that because I like the movies, but you go movies and then dinner. So it's like, it's a twofer. You can't do one without the other, I feel like, because then it's just like, I went to a movie and then I left and I know nothing about you. So
Yeah.
Like, you don't know that person at all. Yeah, I feel like, and it's funny, I had to think about this because I have not gone on many first dates as an adult. Like, when I was young, when I went on dates, it was like high school. So, like, going to a movie in high school makes sense because you see this person all the time at school. It don't really matter at that if you go to a movie afterward because it's like, it's high school. A, all of us that have no money. And B, like, we like going to the movies. Like, it's just one of those places that you go. It's a staple. But when I had my first real date, I think as an adult, we actually went to the art museum and then we ate afterward. I think that makes like a good first date. But he was able to plan such a good first date because we were friends first. And so he knew like what I liked. And so it wasn't hard for him to be like, okay, I can do this. And I know it's manageable. Plus, I know you'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think that's like a really big big factor because when I heard about the question first, I was thinking about that list on Twitter that went around.
Oh my God.
That's the first thing that popped in my mind too.
And it was so funny because I looked over the list and I was like, honestly, like half of these things, honestly, more than half, like if you know the person, y'all have a rapport and y'all like these things and doing it together, or if you just don't know the person that well, why not? Like, you know what I mean?
We was talking about things that ruin the Black community earlier. Twitter is another thing that has ruined the Black community. A lot of those fake opinions up there. Apparently now niggas don't go to Cheesecake Factory. Now you don't go to whatever, all the stuff on there. It's just something to make people mad.
Yeah, no, because the one that was weird to me was like a coffee date, which I feel like is a good first date for people who don't know each other that well. Like, why am I going on a full getting dressed up to be disappointed, and now afterward, like I feel like what are we doing? Like, I'm not gonna talk to you ever again.
Oh, man. There's a place nearby me. I don't know if I want to say the name just because I don't know who's gonna hear this. But it's a great place to go on a first date. Because it's basically like a coffee place. I don't care. It's called Harmony Tea. So I go to Harmony Tea. It's a great place. They serve they have like the tapioca balls in the bottom.
Boba?
Oh, you talking
Boba.
about that?
Yes, they do a lot of boba tea there and stuff like that. And it's great because, it's me, my date. I probably spend, I don't know, $14 for us, whatever. I dropped the 20 to a twin, and that's it. And we talk for a long time, and it goes great. And it's not so much pressure. It's really focused on like we're just hanging and talking at this moment. And like you said, I don't have to drop my whole paycheck. My whole day is jacked up. Just it's just a nice time. It's great. We need to do more of that for the first date, because if you're going out to eat, the places that you generally have to go that are like actually going to be good, it's going to cost. When I'm looking at my spreadsheet later and my budget, because I got to keep that intact, I got to tighten up. Because now the rest of my month, I'm sitting here like, okay, well, how much more can I go out to eat?
Yeah.
Very true. You both said two things that sparked my mind. Just going back to my previous week, I was a proper wingman for my friend back in Florida. We were eating out at a lounge, and I got him to get the waiter's number. Proud of myself because I'm not a good wingman whatsoever, and if I am, it's always by accident. But today I'm like, nah. Today I'm going to make sure I'm going to do this properly. You're gonna get this girl.
Whoa.
But,
that's cool though.
Hitting on the working girls. I don't do that. I'm like, she here to do a job.
That's crazy.
But it worked.
I mean, if it works out though.
He got the number, and I hope it progresses to wherever it progresses.
The number, not the Instagram.
Yeah, you gotta let me know if she texts him back after you hit her. I'm curious how that's gonna go.
Yeah.
I'll off the scenes and everything. But the other thing that you guys said, what makes a good first date? No pressure. I think that makes the best first date possible, because Troy, you mentioned this before. Guys are just kind of expected to pay or come out of pocket.
If you ask her out on a date, you're gonna have to pay that.
This is true. Me personally, a friend of mine told me this is like, if he can not finesse it, but get it to where it's like you both pay your own separate bills. That way it takes off the pressure. It's like, oh, I'm only coming here just to use your money and then just ghost you, whatever. That, me personally, I would prefer is like, oh, we could both pay. But that's a dream state. I know this. It's very hard.
A woman asked me on a date and I ended up paying. I said, ain't this a bitch?
Exactly my point.
How did this How'd it go like this? I'm supposed to be catered to right now. That's the problem. We're talking about Beyonce. Let's go back in time a little bit. Because this is important because I've been just listening to a lot of throwbacks right now. Cater to you. That's where we went wrong. Because we don't do that no more. We ain't got no more cater to you. So we all lost our way. She said, I love the way you walk. How many women out here telling me they love the way I walk, huh? Rub my feet, brush the waves in my hair. That's the issue. That's the issue. We not on that anymore. And that's why we're on Twitter talking about these the places I ain't gonna go if you want to take me on a date.
I feel like the first date is such a built up idea. But I feel like the second date is when you really want to impress. At this point, the first date done went so good. You're like, wow, I enjoy this person. I actually want to be more intentional with them. Then I feel like, okay, where are you taking me on the second date? Because after the first date, okay, the coffee was cute. Now where we going? I feel like that makes more sense to me. But also me and my girlfriends, we've talked about if you were the person to ask the guy on the date, would you pay for it? And some of them said yeah, some of them said no. It just kind of depends on the person. Because I do feel like now we're kind of in this time where a lot of people are trying to take the pressures off of dating. Because I feel like even though as a woman on the first date, I feel like if a guy pays too much, then you feel like, okay, now I gotta put out.
Is that
it's whoa, I don't know if I want to do all that. I just met this man. I don't even know if I like him. And now he don't pay for my food. Now he think I owe him something. I'm out. I'm paying my half. I'm leaving.
That's the bills. Y'all get scared the bill get too high. You're like, damn, I might have to put in.
That's a big bill. I might have to do something. No, thank you.
Oh my god.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody got stresses on both sides, I think. And people don't talk about that as much. Because it's we be building all this stuff up. And I'm like, no.
We live something I thought was we live in the same city. You're my neighbor. We live in the same apartment, make the same wage, but you expect me to have more money than you? I still have to eat too.
Hey, you got 2 jobs. You're not gonna have 2 jobs for long, the way you've been talking, but you got 2 jobs.
Right, I only got one.
I got 2 jobs, but no free time to go on my first date. Come on.
The two jobs plus a podcast.
There's a lot of streams coming in right now.
See, there's no money coming into this podcast.
Yes. It's gonna turn into one of those money podcasts where they talking about, oh yeah, you want to invest in your 401k and put your money in this what's the S&P 500, and you want to go ahead and do this. It's gonna turn into that soon. Got all these streams you got coming in here.
Look. I wasn't trying to put my money business out there, but no, you're right. I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I don't care if I have to pay. Money's not a thing for real.
Money ain't a thing. Whoa.
He said, I'm putting the big bills out. I don't know if I got these problems.
I'm talking about big business. I'm standing on big business. That's what Mr. Nobody said. I'm somebody today.
Right. He said, I was actually somebody every day. Y'all just ain't know.
There's a lot of pressure in here.
I guess. What's your ideal first date? Where would you go on a first date if it was everything was perfect and everything? Because I know mine. I have 2 actually. Whoever hears it in the future, if I don't take you to either of these places, don't worry about it. It's in the works. Do not worry about that. But it's either mini golf or the aquarium. Those are my 2 top tier. Mini golf is it's something cool, active. We get to talk, and that's how I can make jokes, because I'm someone who's I'm not I can make the whole room laugh and everything, but I can make you laugh. Yeah. I just need to get to know you. And then the aquarium is like the zoo, but only wet.
Trying to remind them of what we're trying to get into later. Yeah, that's a good one. Aquarium's fun. If I had to say a great first date in general, if you can pick a brunch type spot, because I don't like waiting around all day to go do this date. It usually, especially if it's on a Saturday or something, I suggest going in the middle of the week if you can, or if you can't do that, a brunch on a Saturday or Sunday, because that way you just ain't got to wait. I don't like waiting a whole much for real, because I just get ready super early and then I'm just sitting there ready on my couch waiting to leave, and I got like an hour and a half before I can leave to drive to the location. Anyway, brunch sort of thing. We get to talk or whatever at the brunch. I'm like, oh man, this is going real cool. And then like an after activity, if we've decided like we're gonna keep kind of hanging. So maybe sometimes it's not even that big a deal. Sometimes like I live in a place that's kind of like just a neighborhood area, but it's got a lot of restaurants. So if we just decide, oh, we're gonna start walking around and talking for a while, I'm like, oh, this is going great. After you've been walking around and talking a while, it usually gets kind of dark. I remember one time I went to there's a jazz place out here called Chatterbox Jazz that I enjoy. So, I get to take someone to Chatterbox Jazz afterwards. I'm like, yeah, they playing some, and the cover there is super cheap. Pretty much any day, it's really not that much. So you just go down there, hang out there for a while, talk, listen to jazz, hang. And if we spent the whole day hanging, it's like your date really can't get any better than that. On first dates, I personally have never had the experience hooking up on the first night. I don't even know if I would want to for real, because I just need that time to like get comfortable with them and be like, yeah, that would be really nice. I'm determining, is that the perfect? I would like to be in a space. I would like to be in a space where I'm like, oh yeah, we can do something tonight. Like what's going on?
Like you said, you spend the day with them, you walk them home, and whatever happens, happens.
Listen, I've been with you all day. You're half your mom and half your daddy. I basically met your parents already since I've been with you. So I think we should just go ahead and lock it down and become one tonight. Now, I don't want to talk about nothing 9 months from now. I don't want to have those type of conversations, but it would be cool if we could do a little something. Yeah, that's perfect. That's perfection. But I've never been in that space on the first date. But,
Tyler?
All right. This is hard for me. I haven't been on a first date in a really long time.
Look.
I have been out of this dating game for like 7 years. So I'm like real, like, and to me, like, I feel like what people are talking about now, I can't even relate, because I'd be like, a first date, like, if I were to be out of this, I would want it to be like zero pressure. So I'd probably be like, you trying to hit up like a taco place and then we could go like
taco truck's not a
go
bad idea.
bowling or something afterward. I don't know. Like, I would want it to be like really casual would be good for me. Like low stress, very casual. Like, we're not doing too much. I know exactly how much everything costs. So, if you start getting funny, I can go ahead and get my own stuff. I feel like those are fun because I like having like experiences, and I also like eating real good. So I'm always gonna eat good wherever I'm going. It's gotta be some places that has to have good food. The only thing I agreed on with that, one of the main things I agreed on with that first date thing is I can't go to a Wingstop. Only just because I hate Wingstop. I hate that food there. I don't eat there even on the no date time. I don't eat there. I don't. The food's not good. So,
Tyler says she got beef with you, and if you work at Wingstop, better count your days. If I see you outside in a Wingstop shirt, it's over for you. I ain't even gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna hit you in the head with this brick.
No, because first of all, I could go on a whole tangent.
Go.
It's fine. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it.
We got
Tyler. We got the time.
Listen, okay. All right. I'm a wing place person. I can't do regular wings. And Wingstop, food is just, the wings are wet. Like half the time they be wet and they don't be crispy. And it irritates the mess out of me. And then sometimes it'll actually be really good. But you never know when it's gonna be good. And the fries are not that great.
You got to know who working there. You got to know the shifts that you go on. Then, if you say it was going to be good, you got to notice. Okay, I came here at 6:30 this time.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
On a Tuesday, because you don't even know if it's that same day. If it's gonna be that same person.
Interesting. You're gonna be pissed when they find out somebody got somebody to cover their shift. Like, I thought Daryl was back there. Nah, that's Keisha this time. Oh my God.
Keisha can't make no wings.
Give me my money back.
Can't make no wings.
Give me my money back.
Walk out the door right there.
Right there. Walk out.
Go ahead and toss that in the trash, and I'll see y'all next Tuesday, and he better be back there. That's exactly what that'd be like.
Call Daryl, tell him come in just for like 5 minutes.
Tell Daryl I will cover the money for his shift. Just come on.
Drop this next batch real quick for me, Daryl. You ain't got to watch it for real. Just drop it for me, and I'll pick it back up.
Literally, I know it's your day off, but I'll make it worth your time.
I gotta see my kids, man. Fuck them kids, man.
at a recital. You better leave. Go ahead and put an IOU on the seat.
Well, you work for me. This is my money. I'm giving it to you. Come in, make me my food, and go back to your business. That's
If
it.
you drop the wings right now, you only miss about 30 minutes. Okay. So low pressure from you, Tyler. You've gotten to do your interactive. What's your interactive thing? What do you want to do?
I feel like, I don't know, I like a lot of things. Like I could go bowling, I could do putt-putt, I could do any of those things, I guess. Also, I like paint and sips. We went to a paint and sip recently. I can honestly do that and skip the rest of the food and the other stuff and just do a paint. It was such a good vibe. You're in there with a group, so it's not like the pressure just y'all two, like you're doing kind of like a group activity. You take something home with you afterwards. So you have something to like remember the date. So I think that's kind of nice. Like if you plan to kind of like see this person again, it's like, hey, look, we got little paintings and we can like remember each other that way. So
yeah. On fantasy, yes, but on the flip side, this date was awful. Now you have that thing to remember. You're like,
She gonna throw it in.
and then I toss it. And if I really hated it, then I start beating the painting up. And it still works. It's a relief.
Whoa. I just can't imagine somebody, because I just know it's like in your lap. Just,
Listen, but you take it home and you do it in private so people don't think you're crazy. You know, that's
don't do it at the date.
I can't do it there.
Lose your mind.
I gotta wait till afterward and be like, you know what? He made me so upset. I'm never contacting him again. Block, and I'm punching this painting.
I can't imagine punching the painting at the table and everybody's still painting. Hey, I don't think it's going too well over there. Mind
your business.
You're
Mind your business.
Well, the paint splotching over on my arm because she hitting it so hard. I was trying. I just got this shirt. This is actually my first date too.
I'm drawing angry faces on the painting while I'm there. Just so you know, I'm mad. You need to stop talking to me. I'm finishing my paint. I'm go.
Passive. Very passive.
Oh my God.
Well, Julian, what do you want to do, man? If you have your ideal date, first date.
Right. Well, I'm just going to assume first date, got her number, everything, whatever I got. Try to get a second date, probably within that same week per se.
Within the week.
Within the week.
Interesting.
Because hopefully, I'm like, the date went so well, you actually want to see me again.
So, like, what day do you? Because within the week is very fast. So, what day did you have the date?
Let's say it was first date. The first date was, let's just say it was a Saturday afternoon, right? And then I would want the second date somewhere probably around like Wednesday, Thursday. So it's basically another week. But
how often do y'all feel like, or how quickly is the next date after the first one? I guess because Julian already answered that. There's Troy.
Honestly, because I never really think about that. I just think about like this date, this week, and then the next week. Not necessarily how many days have been in between, but usually it's like the next week. Like usually it's like, okay, because I've learned these are some great networking skills, great business skills. You got to follow up. So you have your first date, and typically, I enjoy my time. They say they enjoy their time, and you usually already have planned the idea at the first date of what you guys are gonna do the next time. I guess I'm dropping a little bit of game on you, but so it might be if we mess around and went out on like a Friday or Saturday, it's a high chance that the next date will be like if we went on Friday, maybe the next date will be on a Saturday because everybody's schedule is so whatever. It doesn't allow for me to be within 7 days, like super tight. But also, I never want to like come off as monopolizing someone's time. But I don't want to say desperate, but usually you don't want to come on too strong because these people don't know you. And since I'm a man and I'm dealing with women, I have to show them that I'm not going to harm them or play them or all that kind of stuff. That's like a big part of dating as a man for the first little bit. So I'll definitely suggest it, but that date's probably going to be, the next weekend or whatever. Typically how close it is. Because I want to go ahead and like keep seeing you. And I know I hate this, but this is just how it goes. I've studied this enough times. I know that for about a month and a half until we get like really, really close. So it's going to be about 5 dates before, or 5 outings of some sort, 5 times that we get together before we start getting like really close, assuming that we're also talking in between those and talking on the phone and texting and all that kind of stuff, which we will be.
Yeah, that's actually something that I feel like I struggle with, seem like I come off too strong. It's not that I'm like desperate or anything. It's just I just do what I want. Like if I want to talk to you, I'm not gonna follow any rules. Like, oh, I need to wait 3 days before I text you after whatever. No, I'm just like, this is on my mind. You were on my mind. I said, hey, what's up, whatever. But I can easily see how that comes off as like, oh, you just whatever.
Yeah, it's tough, but I hold it back for sure. I think text that night. The next day probably won't say much unless she reaches out. Then I'm like, oh, I was on your mind, huh? All right, okay. She doesn't play any games. But if I'll text that night, like, oh, we had a great time, whatever. And then probably the day after that. So if I went out on a date on Monday, on Wednesday, I'll probably say something, probably in reference to something that we talked about on the date. Or if I do something the next day, that's a good one. Next day, it'll be something in reference that we talked about on the date, some joke tied to whatever it was. That's a nice one where it's like, fine. And then hopefully we go back and forth a couple times on that. I'm like, yeah, this is cool. But yeah, you have to be careful on like the next thing. Usually I wouldn't drop a like, oh, I was thinking about you.
Oh yeah, no, nothing like that. But
Yeah.
nothing like that is like, all right, cool. This is just on my mind. We were talking about this. So, but again, that's my little flaw in just the dating game in general.
No, you gotta break it down. He said, when you gonna get serious and quit playing? Listen, we went and played putt-putt. All right. So let's go ahead and get serious. What's his name? Jermaine Jackson had a song. Let's get serious. Let's get serious. Let's get serious and fall in love. That's what you got to drop on them. Maybe they'd be like, oh, he's serious.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like that's one of those things. It's always like a funny line to tell. Because I feel like for me, if I was back out there in the world, I'd be like,
you are. Just got the new job. You brand new.
Listen, in the single life world.
You out here in the jungle like we are. I don't know why you talking like that.
We're putting you in an alternate dimension. Sorry, CJ.
But I don't know. I feel like I would want the follow up to be like soon, but also like I've had to work through personally. Like I don't contact people like quickly. Like I'm definitely one of those people where I'll be like, all right, I got busy during the week, so I didn't message you again until maybe like Wednesday or like a Friday, or like it'll be the next weekend. But like if we had something planned or someone hit me up first, then like obviously I'm gonna keep the conversation going, because I'm like, all right, I like talking to you. Like I'm not gonna ghost in if I really felt like, oh, okay, like we connected and I actually do enjoy this, I want to keep this conversation up. But that's kind of like my cross to bear. I feel like I'm real different because most people talk about like, yeah, these guys, like they don't text back, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'd be the one not texting back.
Here's the thing about that. I talked to Marvin about this when we were in college, because there's a lot of women talking about, I don't know why he does that. He's not texting back. He's been really weird. That's because he doesn't like you. And they don't want to hear that. Nobody wants to hear that. That's the truth.
No.
They don't like you, because anybody who likes you, they're gonna talk to you. If you have a consistent thing where like they're not talking, and I just hit you every few days or something, and we're supposed to be like in some sort of rapport and trying to get closer and all that kind of stuff, that means he don't like you like that. And it's a hard pill to swallow. Yeah. And I feel like it's an even harder pill to swallow for women.
Guys, this works for you too. Like, don't get fooled. That's for you too.
This is for the men as well. There's a lot of men wasting their time talking to themselves in somebody's DMs right now. But when you've experienced someone who has genuine interest in you, and not even just a romantic partner, but your friends text you back, you know what I mean? Your parents hopefully text you back.
Well, listen, I've heard some stories, so hopefully,
because you know how that goes.
Yeah.
Your friends that when somebody is genuinely interested in you and wants to see you, and I know when you like someone, you will give a lot of excuses for, oh, they was walking a dog for 7 days. That's why I hadn't heard from them.
They went to the next state and back. Like they took some time.
We all got to, but the truth is they don't like you like that, because anything that you're really interested in, you'll call back or text back or whatever immediately. Not immediately, but you get the point. It's like you'll get back to them, not days later, After you said, hey, I had a really nice time, it was a great time, and they text you 3 days later talking about, hey, what's up? What do you mean, what's up? You didn't see what I said 3 days ago talking about I had a great time? And yeah, they saw it. And some people are like, yeah, I did see that. But what's going on with you now?
Not I did see that, but what's going on with you now? Oh, hold on, wait. Because why would you admit to seeing it and then admit to not respond? I mean, the
They
honesty is
responded
good.
too. They saw it. People
The
be honest
honesty
with
is
people and they
good,
still
but
can't take it.
I will say, like, you know, because we built up this thing where like the women have to do the rejecting and like guys have to be way more comfortable with rejection because we're shifting now. And you know, but like, you know, men now have more of a push to get like mental health opportunities and things of that nature. And I feel like, you know, once you really like love yourself, you really don't be wanting to put yourself in situations where you feel like someone's not being reciprocal. And it's kind of funny because I feel like, you know, with women, we're always talking about like our emotions, all this other stuff. But now, like, you know, we're in this space where like guys talk about their emotions more openly now, too. And I think that's been really hard on a lot of women who lean more towards like traditional dating and like traditional aspects because it's like we're not really living in the traditional, everybody's bottling their feelings up and you only talk about it in the house. And if you talk about it outside the house, like what you doing? Like, wow, we're looking at you crazy. Like, that's the time is over for that now. You have to realize that there are other people out there outside of you that have emotions. It's like so deeply rooted though, because I've also had like a couple of my girlfriends come to me and be like if I saw a guy crying, like what am I doing with that? I'm like, if he sees you cry, what do you expect him to act the same way? Like that's almost a little like there's no empathy at that point. Like, why would he want to be with you? So I don't know. It's been a weird shift, I think. We're in a weird, like, middle ground shift right now.
I've heard some women say very similar things in relation to like giving their men affection in terms of, I remember a specific conversation was, you know, she wanted to be held, but she never wanted to hold her man. This was a conversation that someone was telling to me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And, you know, stuff like that, again, that level of discernment, I can usually tell pretty early. If that's your mindset, then I'm just not going to talk to you. And I'm probably definitely not in a romantic sense. And I'm probably not going to talk to you much, period, after that, because I just know how you think. And that's going to bother me every time I'm talking to you. And I'm just going to be like, every time you're saying something, I'm like, but she's dumb. So it doesn't really matter. Or he's dumb. There are definitely some instances of stuff.
Yeah.
He's dumb. I'm really wasting a lot of my time sitting here. I don't have forever. I can't live forever, and I'm wasting it listening to whatever they got to talk about, and they not talking about nothing.
I'm glad you're here, Tyler, because I'm like, I can't have this conversation with just myself or just guys. But you mentioned like how guys like crying or showing emotion and everything. There's definitely a time and place. Like if you're boohoo crying, no matter who you are, why are you doing this in public? Like,
yeah,
if you're doing it in public, I know an emergency has occurred. Like, if you could have held it and went home, you would have done that. So I know it's serious. If we in the Walmart checkout line and you started boohoo crying, that means your car got declined. And hey, I'm sorry about that, but I'm gonna need you to move to the side so I can scan this chicken real quick. But no, I know if you were like boohoo crying out in public, especially if you're with like your significant other or something like that, especially if you're a man, something seriously wrong has been built up, and you know you just couldn't hold no more, or something just snapped right in you. And I know that you really do need some support of some kind.
But I would say boohoo crying on a first date might be a little
much.
That might be much. But I'm like anybody on any side, like I'd be like, whoa, wait a minute now, because okay, unless we're having like deep conversations and like it's gotten there, and I'm like, oh man, like what's your childhood traumas or something? Like we're having like some crazy kind of conversation, like I can see that. But like, you know, we eating, you know, we're vibing. All of a sudden, you know, you like, man, I got a lot going on, and just start crying. Like I'd be like, whoa, all right. It would take me a second to are you all right? Like what's going on that's triggering this? And also, do you have a lot going on? Because I feel like there's also one of those things. So like if you have so much going on in your life that you can't get through a first date, I feel like sometimes that's a sign that like maybe you need to pull out of the dating pool and really look within and take that time to heal. Because like
first day boohoo is absolutely crazy. I saw a tweet talking about exactly what you're talking about.
Really?
Where it's like a woman was dating, went on a, was it a first? I think it was a first date. I'm almost positive. And she was like, yeah, my date was boohoo crying. And it's because I walked him through some sort of conversation about his inner child and stuff. Because I think she was kind of a therapist as well. And, now that I'm hearing that story said out loud to me, I'm like, that sounded like it was an ad. But still, because she had like a thread after, here are some of the conversations that I walked him through. And I'm like, you crazy? Like, I know you're a therapist and you're used to talking about all this deep stuff all day or whatever, but like, we were supposed to be joking about how Twitter is ruining the Black community. Like, why are we? I don't want to talk about my childhood trauma on the first day. It's been 20 minutes. Our food ain't even came out yet. And if I get tears on this prime rib, it's going to be an issue.
Okay, but what if it's on the walk? Because you was talking about how y'all gonna be like doing some stuff beforehand, and maybe like you go on a walk, y'all have a deeper conversation, and it just leads to that. Like,
leave your job at home, please. I'm trying to relax and have a good time, not unpack what I got going on inside. It's packed for a reason.
We work every day. Leave your job at work. When she would come up talking about stuff. On the walk is cool. It makes more sense. But
yeah.
But even still, like, we're supposed to be just joking right now. Why do we have to get so serious immediately?
This has actually happened to me before. It wasn't a date per se.
She said, what was it though? I was wondering as well.
Right. Wait, what we talking about?
Look, I got you. I'm picking this girl up. We're going to Walmart, right? She needed help and everything, right? In the car, I kid you not, like 10 minutes in, she's like, did you grow up in a two-parent household? I'm like, wait a minute.
Okay.
Wait, what?
How you be shopping, Julian? What did you do? Where she was like,
right.
We haven't even got to the store yet. Like, I just picked her up. We're going to Walmart.
Oh wow.
So you was driving. Interesting. So you didn't hit her with the, what is it, Dominic Toretto family? You didn't hit her with that? She probably got suspicious.
Out the blue. I think we were talking about music beforehand. I get hit with so did you grow up with a two-parent household? I didn't. I'm like, where do I go with this?
That is all right.
I only said, yeah, I have both my dad and my mom living in the same house at the same time as I was growing up. Like, what am I supposed to do with it?
I saw a tweet earlier today talking about, and I've been in this situation where she was like, a woman said, I had a bad day. And the guy was like, dang, does she ever have a good day? What's wrong? And that's what she was dealing with. I assume, are you dating this woman now?
No,
I didn't think so. I'm glad you're not, because every day would have been miserable if the first time you took her somewhere, she talking about, did you grow up in a two-parent household? Oh, you know what? That don't even matter. I didn't. Let's talk about that.
Right.
My life sucks.
I'm like, was it a setup to talk about her? Like, she had to unpack something in the car.
Absolutely was a setup to talk about her situation at home.
Like, it was a setup in the
What'd she tell you? What'd she tell you?
She's like, nah, I live with my mom. I have my sisters. I'm like, what am I supposed to? I cannot say anything to this. I can't joke about this. We're still like 10 minutes out from Walmart.
You should have turned the music up.
I feel like your whole family structure right now go. Ooh, okay.
So what else she tell you about this mother and sister situation? Because it went deeper than I just got two sisters.
Yeah, what was the rest of the 10 minutes?
Look, I can't even remember. I truly, I can't remember this.
She probably told you some Tyler Perry level story, like
absolutely
had Michael Ealy throwing babies out the window.
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure. And mind you, we're only going to get non-slip shoes. Like that's it.
You was going to get shoes to go to work.
Exactly.
That's crazy. I really couldn't even think what would possess me on a trip to Walmart.
Mind you, I have known this person for about a month. Only on weekends, as the only time I've seen this person. There's no way we got to this deep of a level of a conversation.
Don't talk or nothing. It was like, we going to Walmart? Not know. Like what? Like why are we talking about something so deep all the way to Walmart?
Maybe she didn't go to Walmart growing up, and her family couldn't afford to go to Walmart. You know, they was on food stamps, had that government cheese.
You're
making her a whole backstory for it.
I need there to be a reason for her to ask anyone, did you grow up in a two-parent household?
Listen, I'm telling you, nothing. It came straight out of the dome from nowhere. It
Yeah,
came,
no.
and she was on a call with her mama before she got in the car. That's what that was.
You should have lied. I'll be one person to lie and say something. Actually, no, I grew up by myself. I actually grew up in the forest. I've only been out in civilization for about the last 10 years. There's still some things that I'm adjusting to. But yeah, things were rough. I mean,
oh my gosh.
I had a wolf mama and a bear daddy.
No.
My sister was Bambi. And you know how that went out. You saw the movie. Mama got shot in the first 2 minutes. I'm going to make my story the worst thing you've ever heard. So she never talks about anything related to it was just me and my mom and my sisters. And we lived in a house. Oh, you lived in a house, huh?
No, because I would have started it right there.
What are you doing for the next 10 minutes of this car right then? Because you still have 10 minutes to go to even get to the destination.
You keep going about how you lived in the forest, you lived in the cave, and how things were awful. And the hunters would come every year during mating season, and they would air the whole thing out.
You gotta talk about how cold the winters were, how cold it was.
All you remember is the reflection of safety jackets in your mother's eyes when she was slowly passing away. You had to eat her. There wasn't much else that winter. To this day, deer jerky makes you sick to your stomach. Just the sight of it. Because I'm not talking about you and your mama and your sisters on a trip to Walmart when I just met you, because that's nuts.
Gosh.
Have some
Just on
decorum.
the weekends, you really only known him about like a week for real, because like you just seeing each other on the weekend for a week. That's not even.
Probably will have known this person for a total of, let's just say 2 weeks. 2 weeks and a half.
It started with, hey, we're going to talk about something called boundaries, and why you should have some, and why I have some. Whatever you're about to tell me, keep that inside your boundary for now. I don't think we've gotten there yet. You know, this is an after Walmart conversation. Maybe.
I don't even know what your favorite food is yet. This is crazy.
I couldn't tell you. No, I guarantee you, this is what I remember from this person, right? I don't know her favorite color. I know her birthday, kind of.
Okay.
You don't know it. You don't know it. You said kind of.
You know the month. You know the month.
No, November 7th.
He knows it was this
You
month.
don't know it.
He knows it was this month.
He know.
Exactly.
He know it within the week. He know it within the week. It's somewhere in
Someone
these 7 days.
I knew she was not living with her parents, but she wasn't paying rent for the place that she was living in. And I'm like, all right, this is flag number 2. Like,
It means she's got a pimp.
Literally, though.
she was living with her cousin, I believe. Yeah, no, it was her cousin. But still, I'm like, we are living the same life. You aren't paying any type of bill.
She couch surfing. That's what she was trying to tell you. She was like, hey.
She was trying to find her next couch.
She was trying to add you to another couch.
She was trying to find her next couch. You got out of there. You got out of there well, because she was about to lay it on thick, boy.
Oh gosh.
Should be careful about her. She's gonna try to move in. And now I really got to check in on you.
She actually just stopped talking to me. So I'm like,
She found somebody. She found somebody with a couch.
She was like, he didn't comfort me when I was trying to talk about my. I don't like that. I don't like that.
See that it's almost been an hour, but I do have one question. One question before we guys go. What has been the worst first date you guys have had? Because I'm gonna count that as mine. Like, there's no way.
I'm just going to count this because I don't even remember if this was the first date with this woman or not. And this is somebody that I did really care for at a point in time, still do. But I just remember this date because it was one of the first ones. I was supposed to take her to, you remember Kickback Jack's?
Yeah.
I was going to Kickback Jack's. Same thing that I always do. Took a shower, got all my moisturizer on, cologne, I got a nice sweater on, leather jacket over the top, Timbos underneath. These are black Timbos. These not the typical construction boot worker Timbos. Don't worry, I won't about to pull out no 2x4s or nothing. Anyway, and so I remember I was like, okay, cool, it's 7. You know, are you ready? And she was not. I think it was like she was out of the football game or something, and her friend was on the royal court or whatever. Okay. And they lost her friend's crown or something. So they were like looking for this crown. That took a really long time. And I think what really made me mad was that no one said anything at first. I just didn't hear anything. She was like, I'm going to let you know, whatever. I was like, cool. Waiting. And I called, maybe no answer. I really don't remember. But I just remember hearing all the explanation for it later. I'm like, gee, we were supposed to meet up at 7. It's not like, it was legitimate, like 2 hours, maybe longer. I really don't remember. But at least 2 hours, like where she just was not around, not ready, whatever. And so I remember got her in the car, and I think it was before we even left. I was like, "Hey, I really do not appreciate that you were 2 hours late to this thing." Da 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 da. Da. And I was respectful but stern to let her know how serious I was. And then I was like, it's all good now. You're here. And then we went on the date. But I remember later she's like, "Man, like you like really scolded me." And I was like, "You were 2, 3 hours late, and I had no idea where you was at." Well, and the date went well because again, we were probably already dating at this point, but that was kind of like the first time we were able to really go out. But I'm someone who's very punctual, but I definitely would understand if someone say, "Hey, this happened, whatever." But if you just don't say anything, and I don't know what's going on, and you could have said something, and we're going to go on this date and all this kind of stuff, I find that like very disrespectful. I don't like. But yeah, it's probably the worst.
All right, Tyler, in this alternate universe.
Not alternate universe. Okay, this is the actual date I went on. It was not bad because of the date itself. It was bad because of my parents. So now, mind you, because I gotta set the scene. I was like a junior in high school, and for some reason, without even having like online dating apps like that, I had found a date online. Like,
You're
I
too
can't
young
remember.
to be doing that.
I know. I'd listen. I know that now as an older person, it's like, wow, he really could have been an old pervert, and I could have been like kidnapped or something. Young me, I was like, it makes sense. And then for some reason, this app was supposed to be for like high schools. So he was a guy going to a different high school,
Okay.
and we had been chatting or whatever. And I was like, okay, let's go on a date. And I was like, all right. So we went to the movies, and my mom was dropping me off because I have no license, and my mom was like, "Who's this?" I was like, "Oh yeah, I met him on like an app online." Like I was so honest with her. And the thing is, my little sister was in the car, and she was like, "Take your little sister on a date." My first date with him, I went to the movies, and my little sister was there, and we all hated it. We were all hating it.
my
Sister
God.
was like, "I could have been home." I was like, "She could have been home." Like she had seen him. He obviously looked like a high school student and not a pervert weirdo from the internet. So I was like, okay, it's fine. We're out in public. Like my friends live down the street and have cars, so I could call somebody like if I gotta leave.
That don't mean nothing if the van is outside. How old was your little sister at the time?
Oh my gosh, we have like a 6-year age difference. Like she was like, who was she gonna?
Probably just lost $2 that day instead of $1.
I was like, I have no idea. If anything, it made the date like awkward because we were just like, okay. And then I was just mad.
So
Sean, please.
for the people who are just going to listen to this, right? Charles in his place, right? Red Liner, who just entered the building, dancing in the background.
Okay. Yeah.
Literally.
Appreciate that you have shown up in the camera. I'm glad that you showed up. We're almost there. Gee.
I don't know if he was just sitting there and anything.
No, he been in the living room most of the time. Okay. Please go ahead with your. He can't hear y'all, unfortunately. But please go ahead with your story time. Made the date very awkward because your little sister was there. Your mama really pulled an old school one on that.
Yeah, that was crazy. And like way younger, had no business being on no date or whatever. It was just like, all right. And then I feel like after that, I really only kept hanging out with him. This is gonna sound terrible. Out of spite. Because I was like, why would y'all do that to me? So I was like mad at my mom for doing that.
I ain't never hung out with somebody out of spite.
Listen, like looking back now as an older person, I'm like, what was driving me? And I think it was spite, and I didn't know it. So
you know what they say about black women is spite.
Spite is a nasty thing, y'all. Spite is a nasty thing, y'all. It sticks up on you. Don't do that. Don't date nobody out of no spite for nobody else. Just, date somebody because you like them. They don't because you like them.
It's hard out here in the streets, boy.
It really is.
But that was high school. I was young and like really dumb. So, I would imagine someone who's not like at this big age of 25 would be out here just dating because of spite. But
best believe they definitely are. There are definitely some people
they
doing
are.
That's tough.
Full of it.
I feel sense for my spite. I can't speak for other people who are dating out of spite right now. I couldn't at this age. Nah, I'm way past that. But at that age, no, I was not past it. I was definitely in it, of it. So That's my claim to fame right there.
All right.
Oh.
Mr. Nobody, worst date.
No, I told you my worst day was.
You did.
Yeah,
She came up in your car talking about,
Yeah.
did you have a 2-parent? Did you live in a 2-parent home?
Huh? What?
And we're gonna talk about this later. We can't go back in. We're gonna talk about it later.
We can't even run it back. It was ridiculous.
We
It was
can't.
ridiculous.
Look, I'm gonna end it right there.
Oh
Sure.
my gosh.
Oh, thank you for being on this show with me. This is a very special episode. We got 3 guests in 2. We got
We got a
2
surprise
guests
guest.
in here.
Yeah.
Look, Tyler, you know why I said this, but the audience will find out. The audience will find out. But Troy, before we go, you got anything to say, like where people can find you and anything?
Yeah. My full name is TroyTrackSelects. You can find me on Instagram at MrTroyTrackSelects. You can find me on Google if you just type in TroyTrackSelects. I'm gonna pop up a bunch of times. I got a podcast talking about music most of the time, the concerts that I host every month in Indy. If you're in Indy, so just look up TroyTrackSelects. You're gonna see me. That's it.
All right.
He blue check certified. He verified.
That's a lie. He capping, Your Honor.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I will be looking for that blue check though. Anyway.
The blue check is not real. I'm also not paying $8 a month for Twitter. Don't ever let them think. I don't want nobody thinking I'm doing that. I would never do that. That's crazy.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I capped. Remember, y'all, pushing P means pushing positivity.
Yeah. Truly humble under
True
God.
God.
Okay, go ahead, y'all. I'm sorry.
Let me do my little quote of the month. The quote is from the book of Business of the 21st Century. And it's, if you're bored with life, it's time for you to go after a new dream. That's it. If you like what you heard, you can find more episodes like this at Not Enough Questions. You can find us anywhere you find podcasts. Social media is NEQ Pod. That's both Instagram and Twitter. Email, if you want to reach out, is Not Enough Questions Podcast. Troy, can you do your outro?
LOL. You made it this far into the episode. You're the real MVP. We'll see you next time. Peace.
See you.
Bye.